Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Rescue Michigan Sunday night live stream. No cold open clip this week. Not much news either, unfortunately. There's going to be a very short episode because, well, there's not been much news, but it's been Christmas. I just got back from Christmas, and I'm sure you folks are still doing the same thing. So we don't have a lot of news to talk about, but I do have one big topic, which is that the Operation Watchdog at rescuemichigan.com is finally all cut up, and you can see all of the unamazing things the legislature has been doing all year. So we'll talk about that in a second. Real nice message, I thought, from President Trump on Christmas. He said, on this Christmas day, marking the birth of Christ, I extend my warmest wishes to the entire Christian community of our nation. May this celebration be a moment of peace, sharing, and fraternity that strengthens our sense of belonging to a national community united in its diversity. Obviously, Trump didn't say that. That was actually the message from the president of Burkina Faso, the West African country. Trump's Christmas message was, Merry Christmas to all, including the radical left scum that is doing everything possible to destroy our country, but are failing badly. We no longer have open borders, men and women's sports, transgender for everyone, a weak law enforcement, yada, 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 bullshit. Just as completely devoid of the Holy Spirit as Trump himself. So that's what Trump's Christmas message was, but whatever. So Trump met with Zelensky of Ukraine today. He's meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu tomorrow just to get his marching orders. So maybe someday he'll do something for America. But in the meantime, it's, Zelensky this and Netanyahu that. He actually also managed to, by the way, he bombed apparently both Nigeria and Somalia on Christmas Day. So that was the president of peace there. Anyway, enough about Trump, enough about all this. Let's talk about the Operation Watchdog that is now finally fully up to date. Although I think I do need to actually still index some bills by categories and stuff, but now you can see we have everything here. 2025 to 26 legislature statistics, 2,200 bills introduced, 358 resolutions, 743 roll call votes, and only 38 bills signed into law. That number is not going to get much higher. And we've got these different tools here. You haven't probably seen this in a long time. I know I hadn't. But now that's all cut up, we can look at some of the different things here. So the bills. We have this neat page where you can just browse all the bills by term. So it's by default set to this term, and you can see now they're all here. So on the drop-down menu, you can choose any block of 50 bills to look through. And they have all these little summaries, all kinds of great things that they're doing here. Here's a nice bill to designate a private organization's design as the official state symbol of remembrance of fallen military members. Didn't realize we needed this, but apparently there is a private organization called Honor and Remember that is, I guess, in the business of selling flags. So someone put in a bill to promote them, I guess. Great things. Oh, here's a funny bill. Legalize child pimps and adjust other penalties for pimping. Yeah. Hard to believe, is it not? But you go to the webpage, and here it is. There is, in fact, actually a nice Senate bill summary for it here. And yeah, here you go. You have bill to make human trafficking violation involving a minor involving kidnapping, criminal sexual conduct, or death a felony, punishable to life imprisonment. All other human trafficking violations be punishable by to 20 years imprisonment. And here's the weird part. Increase from 16 years old to 18 years old the age of a person who could be guilty of misdemeanor or felony penalties for facilitating prostitution. So 16-year-old pimps, you're off the hook, according to this bill by Sue Shink. So there you go. But there's a lot more. And, part of the reason I think why I didn't really keep caught up in this throughout the year is that just a lot of these things are never going to go anywhere. These are all mostly what we call top-line messaging bills. The Democrats know they're not going to get much through the Republican House, and the Republicans know they're not going to get much passed through the Democrat House. So nevertheless, there's all kinds of these weird little things here. You've got a whole nice Democrat vaccine tyranny package, House Bills 5344 through 5354, so that you can, for example, mandate that child care providers disclose the immunization rates of their staff and their children. And so, so there's a couple of brilliant ideas from this case. That one was from Carrie Rangans, I believe, from Ann Arbor, a real genius. You can actually look at all of her bills. If you want any lawmakers' bills, or if you see their names, just kind of click it, and then poof, there it pops up. There you see Carrie Rangans there participating in an illegal strike, and here's all the brilliant bills she's introduced. You can see not so many in 2025 as in 2023, but there is there is her set of proposals here. By the way, I am continuing my tradition of whenever there is a non-binding resolution that doesn't do anything, I just say express an opinion, designate an awareness week, designate an awareness day, designate an awareness month, because obviously these resolutions don't do any such thing. They're just trying to make a few special interests feel happy or something. But anyway, so that was Carrie Rangans. Let's look at some of the other tools we have here. Like Ursula von der Leyen. We've got tools. So I showed you the bills listing, the legislators listing. Is, by the way, one thing I haven't made just yet, but I'm going to probably put out really soon. I noticed this year there has been a real spike in absenteeism from lawmakers. Holy moly. A lot of bills, I saw votes going with like 10, 15 missing votes in the House, much more missed votes in the Senate. So I think I'm going to put together an attendance record listing, and so you can see how many bills your lawmakers have actually missed voting on, which, by the way, occasionally they'll be there and not vote because of a conflict of interest, but those are very rare. More often than not, it's because they were not showing up. Let's see. We've got this 7 days in Lansing tool, which you can actually, I'll show you what that looks like. That's actually this page I was looking at here. You can start to go back as far as 99 days. You can see all these amazing bills the Governor Whitmer has signed, which there only actually are. In fact, there's another tab here, recent laws. You can just look at the Public Act table for the year. So only 28 bills signed into law this year. Nothing special. Here we go. This is the entire year. We've got 2 bills to name a road, the so-and-so Memorial Highway. Whoop-de-doo. It really starts here. Raise minimum wage and outlaw working class jobs, which, as I actually mentioned in this companion bill up here, this is the reason why Republicans are voting to outlaw low-income jobs is because the Democrats had a proposal on the ballot that would have done even worse. This was their way of trying to mitigate the negative effect of that. So figure that out, huh? Democrats put in referenda to drastically damage Michigan's economy, and Republicans have to put up a bill to only less so hurt Michigan's economy. So you got that. Revising definitions of what constitutes a gift to public officials. You've got a land conveyance, allowing more snow days, basically is what that does. Got to do something for the liquor lobby. That's always a big thing. Name another road. Name another road. That's an important one. And of course, the thing that the politicians are really afraid of, deep fake pornography. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. They have signed into law bills allowing for criminal charges for making fake pornography. So, I know you guys are all in a hurry to get your Gretchen Whitmer pornography created before these bills went into effect, but now it is unfortunately a crime. So there you go. Although arguably, to me, I think using a computer to make pornography is really like using a pencil and paper. Like, who's to say, you can't draw someone's likeness only using a computer to do it. That doesn't seem like it complies with the First Amendment. But what do I know? Anyway, then you've got the budget bill. That's kind of a big story, but there's that. And then there's the road funding deal. There have been lots of news articles about that. And that's really about it. The marijuana tax. There's more of the road funding deal. A water quality fee. What to do. Returning unspent local government funds to the general fund. And here's a lovely set package of bills. creating a Michigan National Guard member benefit fund and making taxpayers pay for veterans health care, which, I guess of all the things we spend taxpayer money on, veterans health care is maybe a good thing. Although I have an objection to this in principle, and we'll look at what this bill actually does. So here's the bill, and there's a package of them, so you can see. Here's the kind of report on the whole package of things. But as it says right here, this bill will result in department expenditures for child care costs for eligible National Guard members. These are covered by existing resources, should be covered. The bills that cost will be paid along with possible additional administrative costs from the Michigan National Guard Benefits Fund created under the Senate bill, which they already have here. And then, of course, they say here, it merely establishes a new fund, which would fund this from this other thing. But see, to my mind, national service bills should be handled by the federal government. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about this. I don't know. If you guys think we should be spending our taxpayer dollars to increase spending for the National Guard, I'm not going to argue about that too much. But nevertheless, let's see how they voted on these. You can see how they voted on all these bills. Actually, got a few no's. Look at that. Republicans voted no on this, and some voted yes. So there you go. And then here's the vote in the House. Steve Carr is the only Republican to vote. Oh, sorry, I had the wrong page up. Here's the roll call vote for one of these bills. So you can see the Republicans actually, most of them voted no on it, but not enough to matter. And then the House, the only Republican to vote no is Steve Carr, the voice of fiscal responsibility there. And then on the concurrence, most of the Republicans came on board. You had Runstead, Bumstead, and Bellino voting no. So there's that. Not much to get fed up about, if you ask me, which kind of goes to why this page hasn't been updated in a long time. But now they are. Now you can find everything on here. The Every Democrat unanimous votes. Now, this is an interesting page. And I say that because in the past term, I made this page to make the point that Democrats almost always vote as a unanimous block. What I've found in this term, and I don't know if there's an easy way to see that on this page, there probably isn't, but what I noticed as I was putting in all the votes is that in the House, now that the Republicans are in charge of deciding what gets put up for a vote, there's a lot more diversity on the Democrat side, and a lot of Democrats, generally more than anyone, Dylan Wegela was voting no, while other Democrats voted yes on things. More often, now that there was a Republican choosing what bills to put up, Democrats were more likely to find bills where some of them said, okay, I got to vote yes on this. Whereas in the Senate, and you can't really tell from this page, but these are all bills that the Democrats voted unanimously on. And here, this is the 2023 section, but you go down and you'll get to the 2025 section here. But in the U.S., definitely in the state Senate, more frequently than in the House, you saw Democrats voting unanimously. So there was that. Anyway. What else do we have here? The partisan ranks page. I believe this page goes for their entire voting record lifelong. And this is basically a listing of how often each lawmaker voted with the majority position of the Democrats. So you see you have Democrats who have voted almost unanimously, always along party lines. Whereas with Republicans, you have far, far fewer. the most, this is how many times a Republican voted with the Democrats. And so a lot of things that House was passing are bipartisan, which is why you see Steve Frisbee coming in at 73% voting with Democrats. But then again, I mean, this is a huge range for Republicans, 25% to the low 70s, whereas the Democrats, they're all within voting with the Democrat side almost all the time. Likewise, in the state Senate, Democrats vote almost always unanimously, almost all the time, with almost no dissensions at all. Whereas the Republicans, again, you see a much broader range, all the way from almost voting with the Democrats as often as not, with Mark Huizenga and Michael Weber. These are the two worst rhinos. To Jonathan Lindsay, Jim Runstead, and Lana Tice, who are the most conservative, of course. And yeah, so it turns out this actually does end up working as a pretty nice partisan index. You do have the hardcore conservatives on the one end of the spectrum and the rhinos on the other end. So there you go. And then with the Republicans, Neil Frisky's gone now. He got knocked out by how'd Parker Fairbairn end up doing? Let's find out. He's the one that replaced Neil Frisky. Let's see. Where is Parker? Gotta be here someplace. Oh, there he is. Right with the Democrats. That's funny. So, unfortunately, for the folks in the 107th district, you went from having the most conservative lawmaker to one of the least conservative, although he may have a better police record. So there you go. Sadly, it looks like the pattern here is for the, well, I want to be careful here. This might be somewhat misleading because looks like these are all freshmen. And I think a lot of these bills that the Republicans have been running are mostly bipartisan bills. So I wonder if these other guys don't have the benefit of having been in office through that whole 2023, 24 term when they're being forced to vote on Democrat bills all the time. That might be the reason. But nevertheless, you again still see the trend here. You've got Dylan Wegela, who's voting against the Democrats more often than some Republicans do, which is hilarious. And then again, yeah, it looks like mostly they are the freshmen who are at the bottom end of this spectrum here. And then, of course, the other end, you've got Steve Carr, Matt Maddock. Andrew Beeler's been great. Is Beeler still in? I think Beeler might be gone. Yeah, I think he's gone. Josh Shriver he is great. Andrew Fink is gone. DeSantis still in office. And you got Fox, Jamie Green, and Rachel Smith, who's probably she's probably the most conservative Republican we've seen in leadership in a very long time. So there's that. So there you go. There is the partisan ranking. Again, I have this disclaimer here. Be careful with this data. Not every bill should count the same, but this is just mathematically how they work out. And there you go. So you can see also by the way, there's also this other section here. Bills voted on but not laws, which is handy to look at because these are bills that are probably going to be getting a vote. Well, maybe. Certainly ones that pass both chambers. These are either on the way to the governor's desk or maybe they have some kind of minor distinctions that need to be worked out with a concurrence vote or a conference committee or something. Also, the departmental budgets are going to die because those just get rolled up into the omnibus, so those aren't there anymore. The work keys opt out. Hey, that was a bill I worked on with Representative John Riley's office. Glad to see that bill isn't completely dead. That's passed the House and the Senate, so maybe that'll get gets into the governor's desk. That'd be fantastic. That was something that me and Evan Cruz in John Riley's office can take some credit for. That was actually Evan's idea, this bill, so it's great to see that it's moving along here. So yeah, we've got. What if I put this, for this bill description? Let's see what this bill is. Exempt people from disabilities from food licensing rules. So here is what that bill says. And exempt from the law's licensure requirements, individual operating a concession stand under the requirements which provide citizens to blind and I remember hearing there's some kind of law that says that only blind people are allowed to operate vending machines in Michigan, something like that. Weird. Anyway, so there it is. There is a bill that says, yeah, if you're blind, you might not need a license, which is weird because if they don't need a license, why should anybody? But there you go. So that is one more bill that they are working on in Lansing. Let's see here. Anything else of particular interest? Gotta protect the privacy of judges, folks. We wouldn't want them to have to face the public, and have public information. Everybody else has to have public. They get to keep it secret because they're special. And then you got bills that have passed the House only, but not the Senate. And again, here I'd be cautious because a lot of these are bills that are dead on arrival in the Senate because, because the Democrats have the majority in the Senate, but not the House. Some bad bills here, though. I even just put right in the title, unconstitutionally restrict the speech of former lawmakers. So there's this package of bills. I like to call these top line messaging bills, which they probably don't really want to actually get signed into law. In this case, prohibiting former members of the legislature from certain lobbying activities over a period of time. So, yeah, you lose your rights when you become a lawmaker. Apparently, it's how that works. But there's the vote on that. You can see the ones against it: usual conservatives, Kara, Shriver, Jamie Green, and then some others for who knows why. And Karen Whitsett not voting on that one. So there you go. Operation Watchdog is up to date. You can certainly leave comments in the chat with bills you want me to take a closer look at, or things you don't understand, or anything like that. But it is back up to date, so you can have a look at all the interesting, not really, things that the legislature's been doing for the past year. And we will maybe do a little bit of a deeper dive in this when we do our show next Sunday. Although we may do a New Year's stream show. I haven't quite decided yet, but we'll see how that goes when the new year comes up. So I'll let you guys know if we do a New Year's episode special. We may or may not. I don't know. We'll see. All right. I do not have a whole lot prepared for tonight. Hey, by the way, looking over at the chat. Hey, Laura. Hey, Mark. Hey, Kevin. Thank you. Hey, Barry. Patty post, save the date. Citizens only voting amendment statewide signing day, January 10th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Plymouth Canton Republicans Club is a flyer. So there you go. I think the deadline for that is, when's the deadline, Patty? Is it mid-January? I want to say is the deadline for that. So hopefully they get their signatures done. In happy news, by the way, guess who didn't get their signatures is the instant runoff voting, the ranked choice voting people. They have announced that they are a couple 100,000 signatures short, and they have aborted their effort for the year. They say they're going to be back in 2 years. I doubt it. We'll see. And there you go. So there is your wrap up for all the things that have been happening in Lansing for the past year. So again, maybe next week and we'll do a little bit more of a deep dive into that. But until then, guys, we're going to make it a short stream for tonight because it is, after all, the post-Christmas, pre-New Year stretch here, and I'm a little exhausted. And it's been kind of a quiet week in news anyway. Patty says January 31st is 6 months. We kicked off on July 31st. So that's probably going to mean they're going to have to call it on January 31st. Theoretically, you have a 6-month window that you could scroll over and keep collecting but the problem is then you start to have all signatures roll off, and that's as bad a problem, if not worse. So we shall see. So there you go, guys. That'll do it for us for tonight. As always, thanks for all you do for Liberty. And if you like the content, please hit the like button. And until next time, peace.